Hey, sugar. What's the tea? This is Andrea Lamour, and welcome. Come on into the show. Let me show you how things are done in my world. My world. Stay tuned. And welcome to another edition of Myworldlamour. Babies, I have a few treats for you today. I have a couple of my friends that came in to help us see exactly what we go through in our world of transsexuality and transgenderism. So stay tuned, get yourself a snack, because we have even a bigger meal for you afterwards. And also, I want you to continue to watch my show, because you never know what kind of treats we'll have for you. Stay tuned, babies. And you might see something you like.
Do you have a problem with your friends driving recklessly? With your friends endangering your life? I'm here to tell you that reckless driving is the #1 cause of teenage deaths. But with new and improved Slow Down, you don't have to die.
He's right. We should slow down.
In the real world, there is no spokesperson to prevent reckless driving. There's only you. Speak up.
Kim, pay attention.
60-inch screen, high definition. Football season is coming up. You can watch it right here. What do you think?
I'll take it.
Huh? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
You're right. I don't need it.
Hi, I'm Andrea Lamour, and you're watching Comcast Local Origination, Channel 80. Hi, babies. Thank you for joining me again on Myworldlamour. I'm Andrea Lamour, the hostess. Now, I have a friend of mine that's visiting us today, all the way from Philadelphia, Fight, by the name of Miss Val Sewell. Welcome, Val, to my world.
It's a pleasure to be here, Andrea.
Now, I wanted to ask you some questions about transsexuality and transgenderism, because it's really amazing to me how people on the streets take us for people, and sometimes they don't take us for people. So in your experience in life, how do people accept you, and what are people's reactions like on the street?
Sure. Well, I think that things have really opened up in the last 5 or 7 years for transgendered people overall. And the reaction that I get on the street is really various. Some people, if they have a problem, and I clearly don't fit into solid categories in the way that other people do. And some people just look to the side as though they never saw me to begin with. I've actually had 7 or 8 proposals of marriage, just on the spot. Wow, you must be a real freak. Why don't you marry me, kind of thing, and that, mostly from middle-aged black fellows. And then I get a lot of questions, particularly from children, of, are you a man or a woman? But the thing that I really like about Philadelphia, and one of the things that kind of keeps me here, is the sense of, like, you can do what you want. As long as you're not bothering me, I'm not going to bother you about it. And there's a sense of sort of like, oh, well, that's a weird Philadelphian, but I see her on the street, and she's my neighbor.
Right.
And that's all it is. There it is.
When your peers or your neighbors, people that see you on a daily basis, they may see you in a certain role, whether it be masculine or feminine, but you may not see yourself in that same role. How do you handle that with them in your day-to-day routine with them?
Well, mostly the way that people see me doesn't change the way that I interact with them. And it's not my responsibility for them to view me correctly.
Right.
So they can take whatever understanding away from me that they're going to. I am a person who I'm a teacher, and so I really enjoy it when people ask questions, and I'm really open to that on the street.
They're interested, right?
Yeah, and respectful and open to hearing about different kinds of reality, or like open to hearing about different experiences. So I roll really well when people ask me questions. Not every trans person does. And so that's not like a blanket statement of this is how you should respect trans
some
people.
of us are kind of standoffish because you get so used to being hurt or offended, you automatically put up that wall, so, you know, keep them at that distance so they can't get too far in to hurt you.
Yeah.
But now, when exactly did you realize your identity sexually, or who you were as a person on the inside?
Sure. Well, so I was assigned female at birth. They came out and they said, oh, a baby girl. And I was a girly girl, like ruffly pink underwear and My Little Ponies and dolls. Yeah, it's true though. I've got the photographic evidence. Like pink. And I never really had a problem with my gender as assigned. I was always pretty comfortable with it. At 15, I realized that I wanted to smooch girls occasionally, and that was a different, but not about my gender, right? It was about the expectations of what my gender was supposed to do. When I was 18, I started growing facial hair, unbeknownst to me, I didn't plan on it, but I shaved every day to hide it. And didn't want anybody to know, and it kept me from, going camping or sleeping over at people's houses or going anywhere that I couldn't guarantee that I would have a shower in the morning to shave my facial hair and continue to hide it. So in the 2002, I guess, I was handed this zine. I had a lover at the time who thought that my facial hair was pretty cool, and we lived together. So she saw me in the morning before I had a chance to shower, and she thought my facial hair was pretty cool.
And you didn't have to wonder what kind of reaction you were going to get and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And she actually had a friend who had participated in making this zine called Nanny Goat Tranny Goat that was about the bearded female experience. And in reading that zine, I realized that there was a world of options open to me regarding my facial hair, and that what was more important to me than putting up a false front or putting up a facade, what was more important to me was actually like working on accepting my body as it is.
Did you find a lot of resistance to people in the public because you were growing facial hair?
Well, it's funny. I was just thinking about this morning, and I would, for a long time before I stopped shaving every day, I didn't shave on the weekends because I live in West Philly, and it really was a very safe and diverse place, so I very rarely get any flack from people in West Philly still, even when I had just the tiniest little bit of hair. I mean, the flack that I get generally in West Philadelphia is from young men. Who don't know if I'm predator or prey.
They don't understand, so, they want to ask, what in the world?
Or not ask, but just talk among themselves.
And they don't say it so kindly either.
Yeah, no.
Well, can you clarify the difference between transvestite, transsexual, and transgender?
Sure. Well, so transgender is the word that's used as an umbrella term. It's a big term that a lot of different kinds of people fall under, even people who wouldn't use the word transgendered for themselves. So I use transgendered because if it's not transphobia that I face on the street, I don't know what to call it.
Exactly.
So I use the word transgendered for myself. Transsexual is someone who is assigned a particular gender at birth, and then at whatever point, whether it's early on or later on in their life, realize that they don't match that gender, that what's inside them doesn't match their exterior, and so want to transition between one or the other. Transvestite, you can tell that the root in there that's vest, the trans is like vestments or clothing. So it's someone who has one gender and wears the clothing of what's called the opposite gender.
But may not quite live the life of the outer shell.
Or desire to live that way permanently, or desire to change their body in any way to to fit that stereotype, but that it's more clothing based in that way. And so sometimes it's about like people feeling like what they do matches what's inside, and sometimes it's about folks getting off on the transgression.
But, well, you know, something that I realized of being trans myself, if you don't accept yourself on the inside and you're not comfortable with who you are, then how can you go forward and be the things that you're meant to be outside of your sexuality? Now, and that brings me to how I met you. You know, being a student of Project Teach myself, which is a course that's taught at Philadelphia Fight to empower people on knowing what to do about AIDS, how to help prevent AIDS in new cases, you know, all these things. I met you because us being trans, we decided to accept ourselves and we grew. Can you tell us about your title there at Philadelphia Fight, what you do there?
Sure. Well, so Philadelphia Fight is a large AIDS service organization. We have education programs that you're referring to. There's an AIDS library on site, which is a lending library of HIV-specific material, but we also like to take questions about SEPTA transportation, like I'm trying to get to Gladwin, how do I do it? We will definitely take that question. We have the primary care clinic for folks living with HIV right there that has case management on site, adherence counseling, there's a pharmacist. So we're trying to be sort of the one-stop shopping model and helping people get all of the related services that they need if they're living with HIV.
Can you tell me if they're transgender friendly?
Absolutely. Yes, please. That's a big initiative that's come about. And part of when I said that it's been more open in the last 5 years, that's a symptom of that. That's an example of that. The education programs that we do are not just for folks living with HIV. We also have classes. There's a class that I teach called Frontline Teach, which is for folks who are affected by the epidemic, friends, family members, caregivers,
We're running
doctors.
out of time, but can you give me a quick number or website where they can come to just to get information?
Well, so 215-985-4448 is the phone number for Philadelphia Fight. My extension is 164, and I welcome any calls. And you can check out www.fight.org. That's FIGHT.org, or www.aidslibrary.org, and get all your questions answered.
Okay. Thank you very much, Val, for coming to my world. I love you too, baby. I'm so glad you had time to join us. And stay tuned because we have some more education for you, dear.
Transgender people are here. We're here to stay. So you're either going to hate us or you're going to love us. But I also feel that education is very important. Being educated in society.
These things we count on every day started as ideas. Ideas from the minds of African Americans. Support minority education today so we don't miss out on the next big idea tomorrow. The United Negro College Fund. A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
What up, y'all? This is Young Lloyd reporting live. Stop the violence in your community and turn it in to Comcast Local Origination Channel 8. Your shot.
Hi, babies, and welcome back. I have another friend of mine who's here today to help me explain to you exactly what we go through in my world of transgenderism. And my friend's name is Miss Kelly Brown. Welcome, Kelly.
Hey, baby, how are you?
It's a pleasure. I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing a lot better now that you're here, girl. You can help back me up. You know, I wanted you on the show because I wanted us to be able to explain to the public what we go through on a daily basis. You know what I mean? What we view from watching them watch us. You know what I mean? So in your experience on the street, how do you take the way people take you, their reactions and the way that they react to you, period?
Well, first of all, it's not as bad for me because I think it has a lot to do with the way I carry myself.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people see me as a female.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that if you carry yourself in a certain way, people will respect you. You know
Exactly.
what I mean?
They accept you for how you accept yourself.
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
But when you're in the public and you have to, say for instance, you go to the train station or you go to a restaurant, do you get any funny reactions from people when you decide to, of course we identify as female, but when sometimes people in public who spook us, so to speak, they want to have some kind of reaction because of the bathroom we chose to go into, or, you know, when we go to the register, they know what you are, but they don't quite want to give you that title, so they want to really call you out. How do you handle that?
Well, like this, look, it is what it is. It's 2007. Okay?
Pretty much.
And it's like transgender people are here. We're here to stay. So you're either going to hate us or you're going to love us. But I also feel that education is very important. Being educated in society about different people and how they, well, not different people, but different genders and how they, and how certain people live their lives is very important. Now, it's that pity back on, like, you know, you have the Jerry Springers and all these other little talk shows that come on and they portray a certain image that we live a rough, rowdy, or chaotic life. But a lot of us are just like, you know, like we're people. And we have a life, and we have feelings, and we have, and we work, we pay taxes, you know, we do a lot.
Has being transgendered hindered you in any way in your career or things that you want to do for yourself?
Well, career-minded, it has, because I'm a recording artist, and before being transgender, I wasn't transgender before, and it was kind of hard because I was being told that, well, you know, I know this is the way you're going to be, this is how you're going to live, whatever, but this may hinder your career. But I took a stand because this is something that I felt within that needed to come out. Yeah. So, you know, it kind of hindered me a little bit as far as the career goes and stuff like that.
But I see you overcame it.
Oh, I'm a survivor.
And overcame it quite well.
Thank you, baby. Thank you so much.
I met you a few years ago, and I heard about, you know, your singing career and that it was going well and everything. And it's good to see that these few years later, that both of us have elevated and gone on with our careers and going on with our life, and things are going positively, which is, as my best friend Miguel says, his mom has the saying, the best revenge is living well.
Yeah, exactly.
You
well,
know?
I mean, because there's room for all of us, you know. We all have a place. And I feel so that no matter who you are, I believe each individual on this earth has a hidden talent or has a talent that needs to be displayed. And someone will hear you, someone will like you, somebody will back you and take note of what you're doing.
One of the things I liked about you was your spirit, because I actually went to go to a new church, and being a new person there, and I happened to see you. It was a friendly face, someone, you know, a familiar face, and it made me comfortable. And then to know about your voice, you know, and I'm really interested because I know we have some projects coming up together.
Yes,
Can you let the audience know about our project coming up?
Well, we've both been talking about doing a collaboration on some things, which I'm very excited about, because you're an excellent singer yourself. I mean, can sing the breakfast off of this building. You do a great job. But I like the collaboration to come through, and we can work together and make a name for ourselves. And by the way, I commend you for doing this show. And I'm very proud of you, because this is what we need. We need to be seen more. We need people to know that we are doing something positive and that we can have an impact on someone. But
thank you.
You're welcome. But the gospel church and gospel to me has always been ever since I was young. So, but I'm singing in church now in the choir, Healing Stream United Church of Christ in North Philadelphia. And I'm glad that you came to our church, and hoping that other girls will come to the church as well. They will get a very, very good worship experience.
Can you tell them the date and things about our project coming up?
Well, we have a project that's coming January 27th, 2008. It's called the Soul Transformation Cabaret. We're going to be, it's a fundraiser, actually, charitable fundraiser for our church, and just for outreach and, you know, reaching the community. But it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful event. So for those of you who would like to come out and support, we would love to have you come out. But you're performing.
Yes, I'm performing myself.
Right,
and my designer for the show, Mr. Miguel Osborne, he's in the show.
Right.
We have any girl that's a headliner in Philadelphia as far as female impersonation or singing, they will be there.
Exactly.
And also, now I wanted you to be able to give them an address for the church.
Okay, the church address is 401 Indiana Avenue. It's at the corner of C and Indiana and North Philadelphia.
And I wanted to also give you some props because I understand that you have sung at Gay Pride in California. You actually made a cover of, because I'm in a group that we do covers of Sylvester, but you actually sang a cover song of Sylvester's work, and I heard it is marvelous. You have to hear Kelly's voice. We're going to have a show one day and have her come in and actually blow these rafters off, I'm telling you. But I want to give you props, and I'm so proud of you, and congratulations on all of your success.
Thank you.
And I thank you so much for coming in to join us here at Myworldlamour. And I want you people to realize that this girl is going to be really famous one day, and I can say she was on the show with me. Thanks for coming hanging out, and next time I have some fried chicken sitting on the table and we can chitter-chat, tay-to-tay, you know.
Anytime.
But thank you very much for coming.
You're welcome.
And you be blessed. And I'm quite sure that all of you will be blessed. Stay tuned because we have some different things for you, and the show's not quite over yet. But I'm quite sure you'll get something interesting. Hi, I'm Andrea Lamour, and you're watching Myworldlamour on Comcast Local Origination Channel 80. Babies, I decided to go out on the street and talk to some of my fellow brothers and sisters who are transgendered, just to see what they go through and to give some tidbits just for you. Now, stay tuned because I want you to see these babies. They're very interesting because you don't know what you're about to see. Can you tell me what made you start your transition as a transsexual?
My body. Well, for me, it was high school didn't treat me very well. So I had to come out of high school and find myself for who I truly believe I wanted to be.
When I was 12 years old, I am actually an intersex person. When I reached puberty, my boobies started showing. I mean, dramatically showing. I was a 12-year-old 46 double D person. And my daddy, being an apostolic pastor, couldn't comprehend that, nor did he understand it. So he took me to Hahnemann Hospital and to the endocrinology department, and that's when he found out. So my body made that happen.
I truly believe I wanted to be, and that's what made me make my transition. It was a little rough at the start, but I think I did a very good job.
Do stares and questions bother you if someone notices what you are?
No, they really don't bother me.
At this stage of my life, that really happens to me, where people go, ooh.
It really gives me my incentive to be the person that I really want to be. You know, if they stare at me, I did basically a very good job at doing what I needed to do for myself. And it shows on the outside. So when they stare and they look at me, I just pay it no mind, smile, and go on about my life.
And I think if we carry, no matter who you are again, what form of lifestyle you've chosen, be you heterosexual, homosexual, transgendered, or anything else, if you carry yourself, my dad always uses the word circumspectly, then you won't have a problem. But if you carry yourself in an outlandish way and no regard for other people's feelings, then you're going to have a problem.
What irks you, the one thing that irks you the most about being trans? Whether it's the way people accept you or the one thing that you have to deal with on a daily basis about being trans?
It's when they don't get it correct. I'm not a drag queen. I am a trans person.
And I've been thinking about this. I would actually show people in mirror. Because if you look at society today and you see trans alternative lifestyle people at large, at our very worst, we hurt ourselves.
I am trans man to woman, and this is how I live my life as a woman, 24 hours a day.
We may be on drugs, we might be prostitutes, we might be anything.
I don't take off my, well, sometimes I can take off my hair if I want to, but I have some hair. I have a nice length of hair. Sometimes I don't have to take off my boobs and sit them on the dresser. I don't have to take my body off. My body is my body. You know, I go through the city, North Philly, South Philly, anywhere I go as a woman. Most likely, they call me Miss First. Before I open my mouth or give myself away, they call me Miss First, and I just acknowledge to that.
The larger community who has the blessing of bringing children into the world, and when I see the destruction of those children, that's a thing that happens, turns internally and for eternity. You know, it's perpetuating constantly the danger. So it's bigger than us. It's bigger than our community. You know, I've been very blessed. I have the love of my parents, who've been married, will be married 60 years this June. I have my kids who adore me. I've had a long-term relationship, 14 years. Looking at life now at 50, I'm good.
I don't make my life complicated because I'm trans. I love my life because I'm trans, and I go through it like I'm supposed to.
Tick, tick, massive heat wave. Tick, 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 devastating hurricane. Tick, tick, tick. Our future is up to you. Tick.
Comcast Cable Channel 80, you know what we talk about? Def Jam stand up, DJ the Kid stand up, Young Leak, Def Jam, next level, let's go!
Babies, if by any chance you have any comments or suggestions for the Myworldlamour show, feel free to contact me at my site, which is LopezLamour@yahoo.com. Right now, babies, I have a little medical moment for you and some statistics. An estimated 1 million people are currently living with HIV in the United States, with approximately 40,000 new infections occurring each year. 70% of these new infections occur in men and 30% occur in women. By race, 54% of the new infections in the United States occur among African Americans, and 64% of the new infections in women occur in African American women. 75% of the new infections in women are heterosexually transmitted. Half of all new infections in the United States occur in people 25 years of age or younger. Please stay safe.
This is Credit World.
Crystal, you